Imagine a 17-year-old boy standing in an ancient palace made of gold and cedar, trembling. The most powerful king on earth, his father King David, is dying. Before he takes his last breath, David looks at his son and says 5 words that will change history forever. Ask God for whatever you want: money, long life, victory over every enemy. The boy could have asked for anything. Instead, he asked for one thing: wisdom. And because he asked for wisdom instead of wealth, God gave him both and made him the richest, most famous and wisest man who ever walked this planet. This is not a fairy tale. This is the true, raw, and often tragic biography of King Solomon, the man who had everything and still lost it all, and then left us the greatest book of wisdom the world has ever known. Stay until the end, because the final lesson he wrote on his deathbed will completely change how you make decisions for the rest of your life. Welcome to Biography Wisdom Tales, where real lives teach the greatest lessons. The year is roughly 1000 BC Jerusalem. A teenage prince named Solomon wakes up every day knowing one day the throne will be his. His father, David, conquered nations, wrote psalms, and defeated giants. But Solomon, he was never a warrior. He was quiet, thoughtful. He loved books, nature, and questions. While other princes trained with swords, Solomon studied ants, birds, and stars. He once said, "Go to the ant, consider its ways, and be wise." People laughed. This boy will never rule. But David saw something different. On his deathbed, David made Solomon king at just 17. The first night on the throne, Solomon couldn't sleep. He walked to a hill outside Jerusalem called Gibeon and did something no king had ever done before. He offered 1,000 sacrifices and prayed all night. That night, God appeared to him in a dream and said, "Ask for whatever you want me to give you." Solomon answered, "I am only a little child and do not know how to carry out my duties. Give your servant a discerning heart to govern your people and to distinguish between right and wrong." God was stunned. No king had ever asked for wisdom instead of power. So God replied, "Since you asked for this and not for long life or wealth or the death of your enemies, I will give you a wise and discerning heart so that there has never been anyone like you, nor will there ever be. Moreover, I will give you wealth and honor so that in your lifetime no king will compare with you." And God kept his promise. Solomon became the richest man alive. He built the first temple, a wonder of the ancient world covered in pure gold. Kings and queens traveled months just to hear him speak. The Queen of Sheba arrived with tons of gold and spices just to test his wisdom. She asked him the hardest questions imaginable. Solomon answered every single one. She left saying, "I did not believe the reports until I came and saw with my own eyes. The half was not told me." He wrote 3,000 proverbs and over 1,000 songs. He could speak about trees, animals, birds, fish. He understood the language of nature itself. His kingdom stretched from the Euphrates River to Egypt. There was peace for 40 years. Gold was so common in Jerusalem that silver was considered worthless. But here's where the story turns dark. The wisest man who ever lived made the dumbest mistakes imaginable. He married 700 wives and had 300 concubines, many of them foreign princesses to seal political alliances. And slowly, very slowly, those wives turned his heart away from God. He built temples for their false gods. He forgot the one who gave him everything. God appeared to him a second time, this time in anger. "Because you have broken my covenant, I will tear the kingdom from your son." Solomon spent the last years of his life watching his perfect kingdom begin to crack. Rebellion started. Enemies rose. The man who had everything realized too late that everything means nothing without the fear of God. On his deathbed, old and broken, Solomon wrote the book of Ecclesiastes, the most honest book in the Bible. He said, "I built houses, planted vineyards, made gardens in parks, owned more gold than anyone. I denied myself nothing my eyes desired, and it was all meaningless, a chasing after the wind." But then he wrote the final conclusion that billions have read ever since. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the duty of all mankind. Solomon died at around 60 years old. His kingdom split immediately after his death, just as God warned. But his words live on. Every single day, Millions of people open the book of Proverbs, Solomon's wisdom, and find answers to life's hardest questions. So what can we actually learn from the wisest man who ever lived? Ask for wisdom above everything else. It is the one thing that makes every other blessing worthwhile. Guard your heart. Even the wisest person can fall when they stop listening to God. Wealth without wisdom is empty. Pride comes before the fall. Solomon started humble and ended proud. Your legacy is not what you build, but what you teach. Solomon's buildings are gone. His words are still changing lives 3,000 years later. If a teenage boy who chose wisdom over wealth could rule the world, and if the wisest man who ever lived could still lose everything because he forgot God, what does that say about the decisions you're making right now? This is Biography Wisdom Tales. If Solomon's story moved you, hit that like button, drop a comment with the one lesson that hit you hardest, and subscribe right now. Because every week we bring you another true biography that proves wisdom isn't to born. It's chosen, one decision at a time. I'll see you in the next one. Upload this today. This exact topic is trending hard in the US right now. With a strong thumbnail, ancient king on throne, plus cracked crown, plus text, he had everything. Then lost it all. This has 500K 2M view potential in the first month. Go make it happen.